Hi folks, and welcome to the fabulous Mount Panorama, or Bathurst as it's better known as. And this little tricky place only has 2 overtaken places. Well, obviously it has a few more, but generally there's only 2. And then otherwise you're trying to survive up the mountain and down the mountain, trying to dodge walls. Weirdly, if you do survive the race, it's quite good for SR. So, because generally if you do get a contact with a 2x for hitting the wall, generally it's race over. So it's, yeah. Be careful out there. This one will be one easy to lose, put it that way. Info tab for you. Track usage at 46%. That must be me running around at 45%, but that's what I always basically put it as. Track temp 71 Fahrenheit degrees will be above my head for you. And you can see that the sprint setup is being used, which is what is used in the iRacing fixed classes. That is all good and golden. Now, the lap that I'm actually going to show you, this is my second session. I set a 2:04 something or other in my first session. Cracked on again, wanted to get into the decent 2:03s, got there eventually. I think my optimums are 3:2, so there's half a second left on the table somewhere. Struggling around here with the Ferrari. I don't believe it's going to be the quickest car, as it wasn't at Barcelona last week. The Porsche and I think the Audi and the Lambo were much, much quicker than it. So yeah, one of them things, I choose a car because I think that's what most of you have coming up from D-Class, because there's a Ferrari fixed series in there. So that's what I chose for this season. If I maybe do this again sometime, then maybe I choose the Ferrari or the Lambo. Who knows what will happen? But we're going to show you a lap of a 2:03.770. And above my head as well, you should see 2 screens. One is my Discord, where it has the OLAP, BLAP, telemetry and replay files, so you can see exactly what I've done and how many crashes that I've actually made. Also on there is a little Google Docs where you can see what track guides I've done previous and where they're coming up in with the schedule that iRacing are doing season 4. I update it every year, every season, so wherever you want to join the Discord, it will always be up to date. Otherwise, the other screen is how I get into these sessions, trying to make them as accurate as possible. I use the UI scheduler. Very, very useful if you want to gain some practicing before the session week actually opens. Otherwise, enough waffling, let's crack on with it. Right then, Bathurst, this cheeky little rascal. There are only 2 places to really get a decent slipstream overtake, and one of them is coming up right now. So before the 50 board, probably halfway between 100 and 50, you want to stand on the brakes. Second gear, be careful of the oversteer on exit. So I take loads of curves trying to minimize it, but you can see here I just get a little bit wide, a little bit of a wiggle. Loads of times I actually span it around there, so be mindful of that to get a better exit. That might just be a Ferrari thing. Maybe the Porsche and Lambo will exit out that corner a lot better. Who knows? But we are blasting down to turn 2 now, and just at the service road, you want to stand on the brakes again, all the way down into 3rd gear. Second seems a little bit too short. Ride the brakes through the corner and get a nice late apex and get on throttle as early as you can. This is an uphill section now. We are beginning on the mountain, so we need to get a good exit out of there. Up to the kink. So just we pass this little kink, that little wall there, you want to start easy on the brakes. Very easy to face the other way here on braking. My brake bias was about 52%. Slow the car down, get it into apex, and then watch here, another snap of oversteer. So it's very easy to understeer into the wall and then oversteer into the wall. So just be cautious around there, and a very weird bump on the curb on the inside, but nonetheless, use all of the track on the left hand side. This one is pretty flat out even on cold tires, but you do have to test yourself because that wall comes up very quickly. This track is definitely a tester on knowing how wide your car is and knowing how close you can get to the walls. So practice makes perfect on that one. We're still flat out through these S's, just a slight little lift there for confidence because, again, that wall on the right-hand side can appear very quickly. Over the crest, you want a slight lift. It goes light, and then as you come down the dip, it really does dig in with grip again. Try and avoid that curve. It is the curve of death. It can bottom out the car, so be warned about that one. We're at the top now and we're coming down the mountain, so just after this bridge / shadow, brake heavy, then turn, then brake heavy, then turn again, and then brake heavy in a straight line. Really nice rhythm through there is definitely a requirement, so be cautious. This one quite tricky. You almost want to aim for the wall and it will understeer wide. Again, you're going to have to practice that one to get it perfect, but that is really awkward. Full throttle again now, and we are hunting for the most horrible corner on this track in my opinion. And we are braking nice and early, nice and gently, all the way down to the 1st gear. And I'm going to pause it because this bit of wall right there, the amount of times people hit that is absolutely insane. It seems to jut out into the corner again. You think, yeah, I'm getting a good exit, and then the wall coming out and bites you. So be very careful of that one, and be very careful with wall on exit. Again, easy to understeer wide into it because you are going downhill. Second overtaking opportunity down here, so slipstream will be a thing and into this braking zone. So we're looking for the little dirt patch or the change of the red and yellow advertisement on the right hand side, either or. Brake nice and heavy. This is very, very tight on exit, so be mindful of that. Easy to get an off track on that grass. Nice and smooth on throttle back through that corner and flat through the second part of it. Nice little straight. Now, if you get a good run out of there, you might have an opportunity down to the last corner, but it is very, very tight. So red and white curb on the left-hand side as best you can get it. Stand on the brakes, second gear. The curb is quite high, so try and avoid it the best you can. And then just get a nice smooth application and don't run too far wide because that wall is very, very close. Otherwise, that is the lap up and down the mountain, and we cross a line with a 203.776. I was wrong, it was a 770. Good old eyesight. Anyway, game of survival around here. Choose your overtakes wisely. Slipstream will be a huge thing even in the GT cars. And enjoy yourself. It's more of a driver's track than a racing track, if that makes any sense at all. I'm probably going to upset a lot of people, but it is the challenge of beating the track rather than beating opponents, because there will be a few disasters over the mountain. As I mentioned at the start, it is quite good for safety rating, because normally if you hit a wall with a 2x, generally it's your race over, and you don't continue to get off tracks after that. Otherwise, as mentioned, enjoy your week, and I'll catch you on the next one.